We're now halfway through the pre-final stages. It's the Junior Rotax pre-final. Here is your starting grid. On the front row, it's Kenzo Craigie that starts from pole position alongside him countryman Timo Jungling. It's Hungary and Italy on row 2. Armand Hamilton and Alberto Kiko Fracassi. Casper Schormans and Thomas Ingram Hill will round out row number 3. We've had a couple of carts come together, going down into the opening hairpin, one of which is I think it might have been Sam Pollock racing cart. Couldn't really quite make out who that was. But where was I? Thomas Ingram Hill on row 3 in P6. Archie Clark and Lucas Blanford, row 4. Tom Strehler and Crit Cloran rounding up the top 10. Thomas Behrman, Ollie Wise, Harrison Whitacombe, Joshua Graham, Mateo Radenkovic, Buluet, Dave Stevens, Adas Mijalskis, August Raber, Max Cuthbert, Boris Maximov, Freddie Lloyd, Adam Wooden, Jack Baker, Joshua Smith, Lewis Goff, Sky Parker, Sebastian Koch, Matthias Yadderup and Olivier Jonkers were the top 30 that qualified automatically. Through the second chance heat, your remainder of the 36-strong grid will be as follows. India's Raymond Bansal, Denmark's Kasper Nissen, from the UK Cameron Nelson and Oliver Majewski, Lithuania's Thomas Rudokas, and in 36th position representing the UAE, Zain El Homosani. So the drivers now get themselves ready as we are very closely ending the formation lap for the pre-final. The drivers now making their way slowly through into the Mike Wilson complex, a hive of activity in Parc Fermé and scrutineering at this time after the Minimax pre-final. But now, the next 12 minutes, we'll see who might be the torchbearer, who might become the new Junior Rotax champion this season. Into the tram lines. Revs rise. Are we ready? We are lights out. We are underway. And a good start by Kenzo Craigie. Also a good start by Armand Hamilton from the inside of row number 2. Timo Jungling in third position as the field makes its way up the hill. 2, 3 abreast at points all the way up and down it. Everyone making it cleanly through thus far. Someone going high, wide and handsome, make that quite a few carts. I counted at least 7 or 8 that went wide coming out of turn number 4. Archie Clark going on the defensive, heading into the opening hairpin. Accordion effect very much happening all the way up and down the field. Blanford looking up the inside. Oh, someone's got a noisy exhaust, I think, I've just heard. And that is the 258. Joshua Smith, 25th at the start. That is a noisy exhaust, and that will straight away attract the attention of the officials and then bring out the mechanical black flag, or as we like to say in the United Kingdom, the meatball flag. Means you've got to park it within 3 laps, otherwise you get black flagged and disqualified from the session. Kenzo Craigie still leads the way, but Armand Hamilton is closing in on him very, very quickly indeed. Now they're swapping around. Armand Hamilton has got the race lead. Kenzo Craigie tries to dive back up the inside through turn number 3, but does not have the opportunity to do so. Hamilton was too far ahead. Jungling now looking up the inside of Craigie through into the first of the 2 hairpins. Craigie keeping side by side. As now the 276 of Alberto Kiko Fracassi trying to dive bomb up the inside of Casper Schormans. And also off of Timo Jungling. Jungling goes a little bit wide in the 265 as Hamilton leads the field coming out of the Fullerton S's. Craigie, Schormans, Fracassi at the moment. That's your top 4. Jungling in 5th. Thomas Ingram Hill and Archie Clark round out the top 7. Lewis Goff might not have made it past the opening lap. I haven't seen him come through just quite yet. So Archie Clark rounds out the top 7. Armand Hamilton still leads, but a slender one. Kenzo Craigie up the inside of the banking. Gets through, switchback attempt from Hamilton. Craigie tried it again through turn 3. But Hamilton just seems to have that really, really good peripheral vision and spider sense, let's say. Schormans up the inside, through into the opening hairpin. on Kenzo Craigie. Craigie runs wide onto the grass, and that's allowed Fracassi to get through. That's allowed Youngling to get through. Ingram Hill getting through. Ingram Hill round the outside of Craigie, out of the second hairpin. Fracassi right at the back of this train. They are fighting like a little wolf pack. And Craigie now was in the lead. He's dropped all the way down to 4th position. Depending on what the others do behind him, it could be a few more drops for the 2:44. Thomas Ingram Hill trying to get through on Archie Clark. Oh, a little bit of a banzai move there. That was Thomas Behrman coming through into the second part of the Mike Wilson complex. And now Harrison Whittingham going toe-to-toe with Thomas Ingram Hill. They've got Lucas Blanford from Sodi Vitesse in tow. And he seems to be relishing the challenge. And there goes Harrison Whittingham up the inside. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Careful, careful where you tread, because you might get a surprise with someone trying to lunge up the inside of you, and that's exactly what happened just there. So the drivers making their way through into the infield hairpin. Not been an easy one for Max Cuthbert, the youngster based out of Essex, but now it's about how does Kenzo Craigie respond. But my biggest thing here is, right, Timo Youngling, second in the championship on 487. He's third. Where is Mateo Radenkovic in all of this? Currently, as they come across the line to complete lap number 4, Radenkovic is only rounding out the top 15. 15 points, 15th place is 38 points. Timo Youngling, at the minute, is effectively on 4th place. That is 48 points. If you can do the math, I'm not going to try and do the math right now because there's a lot of action happening out on track. This just goes to show that the unpredictability of karting rears its ugly head once in a while. Or maybe when you get to the end of the championship season and everyone is battling around each other, that's where things get a bit more interesting. Archie Clark, third in the championship on 467 after the heats, is third. He's also ahead of Mateo Radenkovic. So now it's about how hard Radenkovic can fight, and he's still in 15th. As soon as there are gaps in trains on this circuit here at Paul Fletcher International, if you are one of those people that have got a lot of clear air in front of you, you're hopefully going to have someone that might want to work with you to get through. However, they are still fighting all amongst themselves at the minute. As Joshua Graham battling away with the likes of Thomas Ingram Hill as another move there. That's by Max Cuthbert. But the leaders making their way through Bobby Game Corner. Thomas Behrman has got the old KR Sport pearly whites on. Sunday best for the 2:59, based out of Chelmsford. But Armand Hamilton is leading the way. Casper Schormans second. Kenzo Craigie in third. Kenzo currently 5th in the standings. He was the ranking after heats leader, having taken 3 wins yesterday. That's where the moves that these drivers make in this final round of the championship could determine whether they do or whether they don't qualify for the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, and whether they do or do not become the 2023 Euro Trophy champions. Joshua Graham having a great scrap with Thomas Ingram Hill. Max Cuthbert slowly making progress up the order. Right, Kenzo Craigie now up into second past Casper Schormans. And Timo Youngling waiting in the wings to get past the Dutchman, who currently occupies 3rd position. 4 minutes and 20 seconds still remaining on the timer, plus an additional lap. Armand Hamilton, his gap might be 0.3 of a second. However, he's keeping it consistent. 5-second time penalty for pushing, going to the 2:82. Aras Majalskis, that penalty is yours, I'm afraid. It's going to drop him from 23rd, a bit further down the order, more likely out of the top 30. So Lewis Goff out on the opening lap. Lewis Goff out early doors. Joshua Smith out after 1.2 seconds of the race. That's how close it is taking place now. Oh, Casper Schormans gets a little bit of a side check, courtesy of Timo Jungling, out of the second hairpin, and Jungling now is up into third. Now, Radenkovic is trying to close in on fast Freddie Lloyd for 14th. Radenkovic is still in 15th position. That is not going to help him. And that's exactly where he started in the race as well. Radenkovic was on the outside, the inside of row number 8, alongside him, Boluet. Oh, Kenzo Craigie's feeling a bit racy. There we go, up the inside to take the race lead with 3 minutes to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. The 2:44. Argenti Motorsport driver, also part of the Mercedes Mercedes Junior team. So, been very much an uphill learning curve for Kenzo, but still has represented Team UK at the Grand Finals before, into the Fullerton S's. And Kenzo Craigie has pulled a little bit of a gap on Armand Hamilton. Casper Schormans now has to see if he can get past Timo Jungling and retake that third position. That is the key point here, folks. But I'm looking at this from one particular perspective. It's about what happens in the final. That's going to be the key differentiator between who wins and who finishes runner-up, who finishes third in this year's championship. Joshua Graham now fighting with Alberto Chico Fracassi, gets up the inside of the Italian, and that is now a change for 6th position. Now, Joshua Graham hasn't had the best run of luck, to be honest with you. He is currently sitting 14th at the moment, but he's had great performances, and then there's been times when he's been involved in incidents clearly not of his fault, and that's how racing works. Just under 90 seconds to go, plus an additional lap in this junior Rotax pre-final. Kenzo Craigie striding away a little bit further, opens the gap up to nearly half a second. Armand Hamilton, Timo Jungling, Casper Schormans goes for the move up the inside of the 265 from London. Couldn't quite get the job done, but was nearly there or thereabouts. Through into turn 4, and now Thomas Behrman he's now sounded his arrival as Fracassi up the inside of Graham, going through into hairpin number 1. Fracassi closes the door to the 298. Behind them they have got Archie Clark, Thomas Ingram Hill, Harrison Whitcomb as the 238. Tom Sveller from Latvia, youngster from Marupe, just outside of Riga, bumps over the grass. Oh, dearie me. Sebastian Koch has just gone off the circuit. 268 looks to also be involved. Jack Baker, so you might have had the likes of Oliver Majewski and Tate Stevens involved in that. Penultimate lap underway. Kenzo Craigie has a lead of nearly 7/10 of a second, just over 6.5 tenths. Casper Schormans trying to thread the eye of the needle through into turn 3 on Timo Jungling onto the bridge, and he makes it through. They were side by side, wheel to wheel. Schormans just went, I've got to go for it, and did the job. Great work there by the 240 from JJ Racing. Into the second hairpin. Timer has now expired. Next time around will be the last lap of the penultimate race of the season. Oh, bit of a moment there for Timo Jungling. Through the Fullerton S's, he goes towards the outside. This could open the door for Thomas Behrman into the Mike Wilson complex, but doesn't quite happen. Poor Timo Jungling was such a lucky beggar right there and then. Last lap board is out. Kenzo Craigie continues to lead the way. As now Schormans has got through on Jungling for third place after that monster move through turn 3 onto the Litchfield Bridge. Behrman still waiting in the wings, trying to see if he can make a meal out of it, because now he's got to try and get the run. They're going to be going all over the shop, to the left, to the right. You can see what happens when pack racing is in full effect, especially in this highly charged category. Thomas Ingram Hill in the mix with Alberto Chico Fracassi, Harrison Whitcomb in there. They're 3 wide coming out of the second hairpin. Oh my goodness, someone's going to have a bit of a fright in a minute. Joshua Graham's right on the back bumper of Thomas Behrman, who's got Timo Jungling right in front of him. But the checkered flag will wave as out of the final corner. Kenzo Craigie continues his dominant run here at Paul Fletcher International, winning the Junior Rotax Pre-Final by nearly 8.5 tenths of a second. Head of Armand Hamilton, Casper Schormans, Timo Jungling, Thomas Behrman, Joshua Graham, Alberto Kiko Fracassi. Then Harrison Whitcomb, Thomas Ingram Hill, Archie Clark, and in the meantime, whilst that was all happening, Matej Radenkovic picked up 11th place. Well done, Matej. A little bit of a recovery drive there. Lucas Blantford in 12th, Boluet in 13th, head of Fast Freddie Lloyd. Tom Streller rounds out the top 15, head of Crick Noren, Max Cuthbert, Ollie Wise, Anas Majalskis, who gets a 5-second time penalty post-race for pushing. Boris Maximov rounds out the top 20 provisionally, ahead of Adam Wooden, August Raber, Oliver Majewski, Tay Stevens, Sky Parker, Arayman Bansal, Cameron Nelson, Jack Baker, Olivier Yonkers, Zain El Homosani, Casper Nissen and Thomas Rudokas rounding up the 32 that finished the race. Matthias Ureller out on the last lap. Sebastian Koch out with 3 to go. And Joshua Smith and Lewis Goff not making it even past the first lap.